Another mystery buried deep in the hills of eastern Washington keeps resurfacing, a bottomless pit said to be a pathway to the paranormal.
Seeing everything from the ground level didn't quite capture the full picture. But with drones, we're now able to snag unbelievable and breathtaking views of the ocean and catch wild, mystifying scenes from the land. Buckle up, because you're about to see some incredible drone footage that you'd never believe if it wasn't filmed. Mythical creature. Panic swept through the locals after a series of mysterious livestock deaths near a Bolivian city. One by one, the animals were discovered either in the jungle or by the roadside, some with injuries on their backs and others with wounded necks. All the injuries were similar, suggesting a single predator was to blame. The alleged culprit was later caught on a drone's camera, a dark bipedal figure with its back turned to the lens. People began to whisper that it might be the legendary chupacabra, known for drinking the blood of animals. However, the true identity of this eerie bipedal creature haunting the fields remains unknown. Thermal spotted python. Even the elusive Burmese python isn't escaping drone surveillance, as a recent encounter demonstrates. A thermal drone recently spotted this camouflage predator, which has overrun much of Florida's woodlands and drastically reduced the population of small wildlife. In response to the rising threat, python hunters in Florida have turned to these thermal drones to track down the deadly snakes. Despite the python's formidable nature, watch how it lunged at a hunter just before he managed to capture it. Cursed tree. Despite being aware of the ominous aura surrounding the mysterious tree situated in the heart of the village, onlookers were nonetheless astonished when they caught sight of a spectral figure resembling a woman perched atop its branches. With her head bowed downwards, the eerie woman seemed to be searching for something amidst the solemn atmosphere. Locals describe her as the ghost of a young woman who tragically lost all her children in a heartbreaking incident that transpired beneath the same tree a few years prior. Consequently, it is believed that the spectral presence frequently haunting the tree is on a quest to find the souls of the departed children, and vehemently discourages anyone from approaching the tree. Trapped in marshland. While trying to take a shortcut home from Brancaster Beach, 75-year-old Peter Pugh wandered into a vast marshland. Lost among the dense fields, he slipped and became stuck in the muddy marsh. After several hours without Peter returning home, his worried wife called the local police to start a rescue operation. Just as the police were searching on foot, a drone operator spotted Peter through his camera, still trapped in the creek. Thanks to the drone, officials were able to bring him safely back home. Night crawlers. Already unnerved by the dense, shadowy forest, the man swiftly retreated from the woods upon encountering these peculiar entities. Nothing more than a pair of disembodied legs with no discernible features. Yes, just two legs skulking along the trails, but what exactly were they? Well, spotted in the woodlands of Fresno, many have dubbed them Fresno crawlers, likening them to mythical creatures believed to subsist on animal blood and wield sharp claws concealed beneath their limbs, known for launching attacks on unsuspecting prey. Floating creature. This creature looked like something out of a dragon tale, but was actually a dinosaur species. It really spooked everyone who saw it. Flying through the skies of Spain, this odd creature had a long tail and a sharp snout, marking it as something out of this world. People thought it was some legendary monster known for sucking animal blood, but on closer inspection, many experts identified it as a rare type of pterosaur called Rhamphorhynchus. Weren't these supposed to be extinct? And if they're not, should we be bracing for a dinosaur apocalypse? Trail of mysterious lights. Given the lack of plausible explanations, it's understandable that observers would jump to the conclusion that it was a UFO. In October 2021, residents of Oregon observed a sequence of luminous dots hovering motionless in the sky above Salem. As speculation mounted, the Oregon Air National Guard was reported to be conducting nighttime training flights with fighter jets in the area, which, if true, would explain the presence of fast-moving aircraft in the sky. Attempting to investigate further, a drone pilot tried to fly his drone closer to the source, but his efforts were futile as the objects were positioned too high to reach, fueling theories of a UFO sighting. Lone man. While testing their drone, a group of teenagers spotted a peculiar-looking man walking through the forest. Curious, they flew the drone closer to get a better look, thinking he might be lost. To their surprise, they found out the man was fully armed and even aimed his weapon at the drone, perceiving it as a threat. Initially, some speculated that he might be a member of an undiscovered tribe from the forest, but others believed he could be a bandit. His possession of weapons and suspicious behavior led to theories that he was hiding from the police, especially given recent reports of assaults and burglaries in nearby areas. Lost Man. Here's another incredible drone rescue story. It began when a man called the local authorities after his car plunged into a deep ditch along the Lincolnshire Highway, and he needed immediate help. But when help arrived, he was surprisingly missing from the scene. With no sign of the crash victim, and after searching for 3 hours with no luck, the authorities decided to deploy a drone equipped with an infrared camera. Eventually, the drone found the man curled up on the side of the road, suffering from hypothermia due to the freezing temperatures. Fortunately, they rescued him just in time, and he quickly recovered after being taken to the hospital. Flying weapon. Typically flying his drone over abandoned areas in Utah, the owner decided to navigate through the mountains this time. That's when he discovered ancient fire pits. However, the highlight of the video isn't just that, it's this. As the drone's camera captured a tiny, extremely fast object hurtling straight towards it. Let's take another look. Watch closely. It's not a bird, and definitely not a flying insect. It appears to be some sort of weapon aimed at the drone. Could it have been launched by another person, or do you have another theory? Moose shedding antlers. Moose are majestic creatures that are rarely seen in the wild, which always piques people's curiosity. So, when a man sent his drone up to capture the stunning scenery of a Canadian forest, he was amazed to find a giant moose on the ground below. Hovering above, the drone captured the incredible moment the bull moose shed its antlers, a sight seldom seen on camera. While it's common to find shed antlers in the woods after the breeding season, catching this process as it happens is quite rare. Isolated tribe. Hidden in the darkest depths of the Amazon rainforest lives an unknown tribe, completely isolated from the outside world. These indigenous people of the Brazilian forest choose to remain shrouded in secrecy. However, a drone flying over the suspected area recently captured images of 16 tribe members, some of whom were armed with arrows. In another incident, when a drone was sent over neighboring woods, it recorded footage of another secretive tribe. This time, the individuals were adorned in red and yellow paints, holding arrows and spears. One of them even threatened a passing helicopter, signaling their hostility towards outsiders. Avalanche captured. While filming an unbelievable avalanche on Vancouver Island in Canada, this guy was totally captivated by the massive wave of snow and didn't realize it could turn back his way. He was shocked to see it heading towards him. Luckily, he was standing on unstable ground and managed to take cover behind a sturdy rock. It was definitely a risky move, but it paid off for him in the end. Rattlesnake pit. Imagine the terror of stumbling into a pit swarming with venomous snakes. A farmer, seeking more land to increase his crop yield, opted to scout the area with a drone rather than going in person. To his shock, he discovered a concealed pit teeming with rattlesnakes. As he maneuvered the drone to gauge the size of the pit, it was abruptly struck multiple times, causing it to crash into the pit. This left the drone pilot with a tough choice: ride off the drone or brave the danger to retrieve it himself. Deer battles hawk. It seemed like a deeply personal matter when a deer charged at a hawk in an unusual wildlife encounter. A wildlife expert was monitoring animal activity with a drone in Nordic Mountain Country Park, Wisconsin, when he captured a striking moment. A deer suddenly dashed towards a red-tailed hawk that was trying to capture a rabbit, apparently intending to harm it. The typically peaceful herbivore stomped on the hawk's chest multiple times without hesitation. Experts speculate that the hawk might have previously killed her fawn, and the rabbit's distress cries could have activated her maternal instincts, prompting her to intervene. Stranded hikers. A drone played a key role in an amazing rescue of hikers who were stuck in Bayous Canyon for 5 hours. A few weeks back, a bunch of young hikers got lost while trekking through Utah's frosty woods. Even though a ground rescue team was sent out to find them, they also deployed a drone. It was the drone that eventually spotted the two women. They were safely pulled out of the deep, icy ravine with the help of a hoverer. Drone detects submerged body. Solving a mystery that had been cold for 20 years, a drone owner flying over a crystal-clear retention pond in Florida spotted a car submerged in 14 feet of water. The car turned out to belong to a middle-aged woman who had vanished in 2002, and since then, her disappearance had remained a mystery. After receiving a tip about the sunken car, authorities dispatched a team of divers who pulled a Mustang from the water. But that wasn't all. They also found human remains inside the car, which could be key to finally resolving the case. Dogs befriends polar bears. Given that polar bears are massive, formidable, and among the most aggressive wild animals, witnessing behavior like this comes as quite a surprise. In a rare and fascinating old drone footage from October 2007, captured at an undisclosed location, a group of huskies is seen interacting harmoniously with two fully grown wild polar bears. The bears appear to be playing with the huskies as if they were their own cubs, showcasing a peculiar relationship that has developed between the two species. One thing that is evident is that the bears are not exhibiting any signs of hunger. Lured to safety. When a 3-year-old dog got stranded in a marshland for 2 days and stubbornly refused to come out, jeopardizing the entire rescue operation, the team had to think outside the box. With the tide rising and time running out, they came up with a unique but hopeful plan. They attached a sausage to a rope, tied it to a drone, and flew it close to the trapped dog to coax her out of the rising waters. Fortunately, this unusual strategy worked. Not only did the dog take the bait, but she was also safely returned to her owners. Big seal rescued. Without the watchful eye of the drone, this seal situation could have turned dire. A team from Ocean Conservation Namibia sprang into action when a drone, patrolling the beaches at Pelican Point, spotted a seal entangled in dozens of fishing lines. Despite several initial setbacks, the rescue team eventually succeeded in ensnaring the seal in a net. They then carefully removed 45 strands of fishing line that were tightly wrapped around its neck and body before releasing it back into the wild. Given that the large male Cape Fur seal was resting near the water to escape the heat, the team had to act swiftly and decisively to assist the distressed animal. Migrating elephants. In a rare spectacle, a group of South Asian elephants were spotted migrating through southern China, a sight seldom seen in the region. The elephants captivated onlookers with their charming antics throughout their journey, from raiding farmers' crops to sleeping on the tracks. As they moved north, their unusual migration patterns intrigued even wildlife experts. To observe without disrupting their journey, drones were used to capture the incredible scenes of these migrating tuskers. After 15 months, here they are, safely back in their homes. Flying humanoid. Perhaps aliens have gotten creative and started crafting their spacecraft to resemble human figures. A drone pilot in California was trying out his new drone late at night when he spotted what looked like a human-shaped figure floating high in the sky. Initially, he thought he might be seeing things, but his suspicion was confirmed by a friend, leading him to believe he had seen an apparition of Jesus Christ in the sky. He described how the figure smoothly sailed through the air before descending toward the ground as if it were coming in for a landing. Lava-spared house. While many might attribute it to luck, this appears to be more akin to divine intervention. In September 2021, Spain's La Palma Island was rocked by one of the longest and most devastating volcanic eruptions in its history, lasting a staggering 85 days and obliterating everything in its path, except for a lone home that somehow remained untouched. As footage of the volcanic lava flowing around the home without engulfing it went viral, social media users began referring to it as the Miracle House. The relentless eruption, which spanned 3 months, decimated around 200 houses, dozens of schools, and displaced over 6,000 people, leaving behind a massive cleanup effort. Floating on a misty evening above the charming streets of Savannah, Georgia, Famous for its eerily beautiful historic areas, a drone captures a spooky scene. Under the warm glow of street lamps, a shadowy figure appears, its shape murky yet commanding. It sparks talk of the city's haunted tales, with some locals convinced it's the notorious ghost of Wright Square. But as the buzz builds, a local historian chimes in, claiming it's probably just a statue draped in Spanish moss, its figure twisted by the fog. Still, the image sticks, a ghostly haze that weaves Savannah's rich history with its spectral presence, highlighting the city's enduring charm. What do you think it could be? Let us know in the comments. Lion Snare Rescue. Despite their size, strength, and ferocity, even lions sometimes require human assistance when they're in distress, regardless of their initial resistance. In March 2023, a wildlife ranger monitoring activity at Kruger National Park using a drone observed an aging lion climbing a mountain towards a tree, its neck severely wounded by a snare. Recognizing the lion's suffering, the park authority approved a swift rescue operation for the elderly lion. The lion was tranquilized with a dart gun before a team of veterinarians could tend to its wounds, ultimately putting an end to its suffering. Thanks a lot for tuning into the video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so you never miss out on our future awesome videos. Thanks again for your support.